I'm Nicole with Sweet Savory World, and today we are making the cutest pumpkin pies, just in time for the holidays. Look at this! With a buttery, flaky crust. Look at those flakes! And a truly silky, spiced pumpkin filling. Best of all, you don't need any special equipment to make these. We're going to be making everything by hand and using a common muffin pan to make our mini pumpkin pies. Let's get started.
In a bowl, we've got cold flour that I popped into the fridge last night.
Into that, we're going to add cold cubed butter.
Or cold grated butter.
I'm going to show you how to make this flaky pie crust the old-fashioned way, using our fingertips to coat the flour with butter and to create those flaky layers that we love in pumpkin pie.
And in seconds, it looks like coarse sand. That's exactly what we want for super flaky crust. Time for some salt and granulated sugar. Now drizzle in just a little of that ice-cold water. 6 to 8 tablespoons of liquid in total should be enough here. You can also replace a few tablespoons of the water with a splash of liquor, a secret trick for tender dough that never gets tough. You can use something neutral like vodka or something with a bit more pizzazz like brandy or white rum.
We want to combine these ingredients just until they come together. Think a Reiki massage, not Swedish massage. Because if we want a flaky crust, we need to avoid developing gluten. And that means limiting the amount of water that we add to our pie crust and mixing lightly. The same technique that helps us to develop that structure with gluten in our bread and pasta recipes is exactly what we don't want here.
Mix the pie dough together just until it holds. No kneading. I like to finish my mix on the countertop using a big piece of parchment paper. That way, the butter in the dough is protected from the warmth of my hands and I can easily avoid overmixing. Perfect! It just holds together. Pop it into the fridge for about 45 minutes. And of course, this pie dough recipe is also perfect if you want to make a full-size pumpkin pie.
Now for the custard.
Of course, we need pumpkin or squash puree. You can use canned, but I prefer to choose my own squash. Butternut, acorn, or mantovana squash, like the one I have here, make a drier, super flavorful base. Although this is called pumpkin pie, many famous canned pumpkin brands also use a squash that doesn't resemble that classic Halloween pumpkin, because those tend to be more watery and less flavorful. Cut your squash in half, oil it inside and out, and pop it into the oven. It's super easy. When the squash is tender enough to sink a fork into, it's ready. Ready to blend into a smooth puree and be turned into a silky custard. Time for some warm spices.
These pumpkin pies are perfectly spiced. Now, some of you may have had a bad experience with pumpkin pie. For instance, my mother doesn't like the traditional allspice that is often included in pumpkin pie recipes. Allspice has a mix of spices, including usually cloves, which is a bit too strong for many palates. Here we're just using warm, cozy cinnamon, ginger, a little bit of vanilla, and a touch of nutmeg.
This is one of the secrets to perfectly silky custard that doesn't crack during the bake. Warm up the ingredients. To a pot, I add the puree, brown sugar, of course, with its rich molasses flavor, ground ginger, cinnamon, and a pinch of salt and some vanilla to enhance the flavor. And freshly grated nutmeg. Give it a mix, and we're ready to warm it up.
The result is a perfectly balanced, spiced pumpkin custard. Because I want my mama to be able to eat these too.
Add the cream and warm the filling over medium-low heat, just until it begins to bubble. Then remove it from the heat, and it's time to add the eggs. Whisked, not beaten, so we keep that custard silky smooth. Add a bit of warm filling to temper. And after everything's combined, you can even strain the filling to get that creamy pastry shop finish. Is your kitchen smelling like fall yet? So silky! We've evaporated any excess water and gently added the fats without adding air. Our pumpkin pie filling is going to be so silky smooth. Our dough is chilled and ready to stretch and shape. I'm giving a quick measure to my muffin pan to see how tall my mini muffin size should be, and to find the right cookie cutter to make my bottoms. Roll out the chilled dough to about 1/8 of an inch, 2 to 3 millimeters. I like to use these little spacers to keep myself on track. Now I need at least 12 strips of dough for the size of my minis. And I'm adding my little parchment paper strips to make these minis easy to take out of the muffin pan. It's not strictly necessary, but in my opinion, worth the time. You can use this trick on a big pie pan too to help remove the baked pie easily. Line the side, remove any excess, press the bottom of the strip together with your finger, and fold over the top. Crimp the tops with a fork. It creates a nice rustic finish and helps to secure the minis in place during the blind bake. Cut the little circles and press them into your muffin tin. Look how cute they already are! If you make your crust a bit thinner or shorter, you'll get even more than 14 pies from this dough. Pop the finished minis into the freezer. We want them to hit the oven cold. Now without a pre-bake, it's tough to avoid a soggy bottom with pumpkin pie. So it's into the oven at a high temperature for 10 minutes. If you want perfection, add parchment paper and some pie waste during this phase. But here I'm going for rustic. After the 10 minutes, use the back of a little spoon to push down gently on any puffed up bottoms. Time to add our room temperature filling. Fill these pies almost to the top. Leave just a little bit of space so they don't overflow. And bake your mini pumpkin pies right in the center of the oven for 15 to 20 minutes until the edges are dry and the centers have that little jiggle. That's how you know they're perfect. And they look amazing! And thanks to our little parchment strips, they are amazingly easy to remove. Once they've cooled, top these little fall treats with a big swirl of whipped cream. And just a dusting of cinnamon.
Let's pop one of these open and take a look inside. Your pumpkin custard should look creamy and silky at the end, not like scrambled pumpkin eggs.
I mean, look at that! The crust is flaky. The filling's creamy. It's the perfect bite of pumpkin pie happiness.
Totally irresistible. Da, da, da. Let me show you just how creamy this is. And we can even see our flakes here. Look at that. True flakiness. Look at that, look at that.
If you learned something new or like my video, hit the like button, hype it, and subscribe to Sweet Savory World for more recipes like this. This is Nicole, and until next time, happy baking!